So Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Malo,
Bro Flying.
T-Buggy, man.
To the greatest sports show on the planet, La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
What's up, everybody? You guys present sports for the culture. It's your boy Scruff, man. You feel me? We got some good topics for y'all, man. It's gonna be a fun show. We was just talking backstage about all the funny things going on in the world right now. And we're gonna jump into some sports topics and then hit you with that culture that keeps you coming back. Let me go ahead and introduce the fellas. Bottom left, introduce yourself.
yes, sir. You know who it is? Your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials as always, man. We got another incredible show for y'all tonight, as my boy Scruff just alluded to. We're going to talk about them NBA finals. A lot of people were trash talking the Celtics all throughout the playoffs. I'm interested to hear what y'all got to say about that. And my man G actually called it with Brown as the MVP, man. So I'm very excited to talk some NBA. And as always, you come for the sports, you stay for the culture. So we got some great topics lined up for y'all.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Top right, introduce yourself.
T-Buggy, man. Hey, wash your hands, wash your ass. Still not safe out here, man. You can still get sick. Don't get sick in the summer. But yeah, man. The major sports are winding down. But we still giving y'all the sports, and we definitely giving y'all that culture. So, like Rome said, stick around. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Off season. No fall off though. Bottom right.
Just want to say fuck the Orioles. You trying to take my man's Judge down, pause. Fuck everything about the Orioles. I hope y'all mothers break their leg coming down them steps. Fuck everything about y'all. Y'all trying to take the godliest team right now out. I'm bugging.
Wonderful people over there at Camden Yards, actually.
Nah, man. Fuck everybody from Baltimore. Everybody out there. Fuck
Actually,
all you Oriole fans.
they're quite
Bunch of
hostile
bums.
bunch, actually. But that's another story. Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the first topics, man. Obviously, the most immediate thing that happened was the ending of the NBA Finals, which ended. There's a lot of things to talk about with the finals, but we'll just start with the basketball, which ended with was it 4-1 if I'm not mistaken, right? Celtics ended up closing the series out at home, which probably a good move. Very well received at home. The Boston faithful. Um, Celtics pretty much had the game, man. They punched him in the mouth early, and Mavs really never had a chance, which brings a lot of questions into the discussion about the Mavericks. We'll save those. But first of all, instant reaction. What does this championship mean for this Celtics dynasty? Well, I won't say dynasty, but Celtics now have the most championships of any franchise in NBA history. What does it mean for the franchise? But what does it mean for the team? T, I'll start with you since you seem to like the Celtics or the Tatum, if you will.
Yeah, it just re-solidifies that Boston is a basketball city. And as far as for the team, they're serious. Like, they're here to stay. Like, it's a bunch of guys that play the game the right way. And what's interesting is playing the game the right way gets called boring, but they got it done. I think they're here to stay. I told you guys in the group chat, I think they'll get two. They'll at least go to two, but I think they'll get two. And, I think they keep this team together. I can't hear you. You're on mute. Nothing.
bro, pull the Mavericks, bro. He went silent right quick. But just to give my thoughts on it, man, I kind of felt the same way. Like, the Celtics played the game the right way. They're a complete team, and they were just the better team than the Mavericks. Me personally, I was disappointed in the series. I was hoping for more games overall. A 5-game series to me isn't the greatest look for the NBA, but if you market the Celtics the right way, which I think they will, then you can live with this. But I think moving forward, if I'm the NBA, I want a more entertaining finals. I want a more challenging road in the playoffs as well for my championship team. But the Celtics, I feel like, have flipped the script. We've said for a while now on the show that the era of the super team is dead and gone, and I think the Celtics have really put that nail in that coffin. Because the biggest debate to me this whole time with the Celtics run hasn't been, oh, is this team going to beat them or is that team going to beat them? It's been who's better, Tatum or Brown. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's been the leading discussion in most people's convos.
Yeah, I mean that kind of tells you that when you're talking about who's better, like obviously they're both really good, and they're still not a super team. So, like you said, I think the NBA is gonna work their magic so we get a more entertaining series next season. But you can't deny, like I said, it's good basketball. You can't deny the product. Like I want to see the numbers though. I truly want to see the numbers because there were a lot of people that thought and probably tuned in to watch Luka and Kyrie. So I want to see the numbers, but I would assume that people thought this was a boring series.
I would agree with you. If anything, I think this series is just as boring as when it was Cleveland versus Golden State, where Kevin Durant. It was just so one lopsided that we was watching. Like, I thought this was even worse than that series. At the hype, it didn't live up to the hype, and that's what hurts the most. We all thought there was going to be like at least a game 7.
Who is we all? Who is we all?
The fan, except for you, T, because you're a coach, I'm assuming. Except for you, who else would have thought this was going to be a 5-game series? Realistically, I said 5 because I was thinking I was throwing a dart and I was gambling. I'm a gambler. But besides that, who really thought this was going to be 5 prior to this going into the series?
I wanted 7. I thought the Mavs would give them much more work. So again, I was very disappointed. But T, I believe you said 5 from the jump.
Yeah, a 5th seed. They snuck their way in. Bro, Dallas making it to the championship was more of a disappointment for the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. They weren't supposed to be there. They just weren't. Luka wasn't supposed to beat all these teams. Well, Luka and Kyrie wasn't supposed to beat all these teams. I think that's the last we see of Dallas in the finals.
I mean, it might be, but I definitely don't think that's the last we see of the Celtics. I mean, if they keep this core together, which it looks like they are, then I think they're going to be a force in the East.
I mean, yeah, they'll make another run at it. Maybe add a player, lose a role player, who knows? But I think Dallas, I think it's over, man. I think the book's out on Luka. Doesn't play defense. He's going to jack a bunch of shots. You contain the role players, you beat the Mavericks. I don't see the Dallas.
The defense by Luka was atrocious. Now I know we're gonna save some of the Dallas takes for down the road, but the defense by Luka was a major problem for me. And the I don't want to call it a disappearing act, but Kyrie, I expected to see a lot more from in this series, or at least to impact it a little bit more than he did. But again, man, the Celtics just overall top to bottom are just too much.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
All right, bet. Yeah, man. Nah, y'all had some good takes. I was listening backstage, but yeah, I mean, I feel like the Celtics was just a little too much for the Mavericks, man. Team wise, I do feel like the Mavericks were just a product of some matchups. NBA is all about matchups, man. They were able to cook a couple of other teams, but I think in reality, Denver would have probably won a series against the Celtics, and I know the Timberwolves would have gave them a little bit more of a run. I'm impressed with the Celtics. At the end of the day, they did handle their business. They have a good team. Now, the core is going to be around for a while. Like Tatum and Brown, obviously going to be around for a while. Holiday got locked up for an extension. But we'll see, bro. Like, they needed every one of them pieces really to win the chip, bro. They weren't able to get over the hump without the Derek Whites.
How long before he gets a contract?
Who? Derek White?
Yeah.
It's got to be soon, bro.
Because I think if they lose
him, bro.
If they lose White, I don't think they could go to another Eastern Conference Finals.
That's crazy.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I think he's a bigger. I think
without.
he's a bigger key than Porzingis. Look, they made it to the finals without Porzingis.
I feel like Porzingis was an X factor, but he didn't really obviously become a factor in these playoffs.
Porzingis gives you the. He's the
overkill.
It's not
literally.
really.
He's literally the overkill. Who's matching up?
He lets you match up with other teams, and you can play different styles of defense when you got Porzingis out there. Because he's still 7'3".
But isn't that overkill?
No.
It's not overkill.
No, because I'm gonna tell you why it's not overkill. If LeBron had this same roster, people would be saying he needed help.
Nah, if LeBron had that roster, I think this will be. I don't think they lose one game in this playoff run.
They would have torched Al Horford, burned him at the stake. Derek White would have got kicked out the league. Like these guys are good because of the situation they're in, the system they're in. I think Joe Mazzulla deserves a ton of credit. People were disrespecting that man's name.
Me.
But he got it done. I think Brad Stevens deserves a ton of respect.
Definitely.
You know, I really appreciate how the Celtics built that team, and I appreciated that beating just a ball hog and Luka.
Yeah,
I've got a question. Jason Tatum got drafted third, right?
GM.
Jason Tatum was drafted third, right?
They were both drafted third.
All right. So let's talk about this, right? If you're the Sixers and the Lakers right now, how far are you kicking yourself in the ass for letting these two guys get away from you?
Well, the crazy thing is, both of them drafts, they both did.
And the Lakers that had the first and second pick.
Well, they would have got
on Tatum and Brown.
That's what I'm saying. If you're both the 76ers and the Lakers, how do you feel right now?
I'll say this about the 76ers, man. They had Hinkie was the one that was tanking. If y'all know the story, Sam Hinkie was tanking, and then they fired Hinkie. Hinkie didn't make those picks, man. That was Colangelo, bitch ass. You feel me? Hinkie might have made the right picks, but it really comes down to one thing: is you got to make the right picks. It really comes down to two things, actually. You got to make the right picks, and then you got to keep working, bro. Because Boston could have gave up, man. Like most teams, it doesn't work in the first couple years, and then you ship the dudes out and you try to blow the shit up. And that's what most teams do. It didn't work, and they kept reworking. And that's how real life is, man. It's like relationships, man. Didn't work with Brad Stevens. They said, you know what? We're going to put you in the front office, bro. You feel me? And then they just kept working with this shit around. They kept twisting it around. They had already picked. They had the core. Then they kept just twisting it around, bro. You feel me? Crazy how it goes, though, man. Sometimes you got to let go of what is like what seems like the most important piece, but in reality, that might be what was holding you back. And to me, what I'm saying is the trade of getting rid of Marcus Smart, I believe, is what opened this opportunity up. That was the difference to me. And I didn't think this way last year. I thought trading Marcus Smart was going to hurt him a lot. But it didn't. Because Derek White's better than Marcus Smart. They have like 3 Marcus Smarts now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Drew Holiday was always a huge upgrade over Marcus Smart. But
and everything, yeah.
You gotta respect teams that find a place for a Marcus Smart. That just shows you that they're really playing basketball out there, because once he left the team, we didn't hear from him again. I don't know if he went to IR. I don't know if he went to the G League.
Went to the Grizzlies.
To the Grizzlies, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, their point guard got himself kicked out the league. Then he got hurt. We still don't hear about Marcus Smart. Like, you would think that's a prime time to step up and take a lead on that team, but nope. Bro was riding the coat.
Man.
That's a crazy stat that B dropped in the comments. The Celtics' last 2 rings, 08 and 24. That's crazy. Lakers fans definitely in shambles on that one.
Facts.
Yeah, like, honestly, that's kind of bugging me out.
Basically, I mean, you know, well, Boston got the most of them, but most of them joints was really back in the day. keep it 100 with
Yeah.
you. You
That's
know,
that's the Tatum Mamba synergy.
excuse me.
Let's not do this. We're not comparing nobody to Kobe Bryant. Not tonight. At least not tonight.
Honestly, I feel like the only person we should be comparing Jason Tatum to is just like I don't know. Like I don't know who to compare him to. Like from a basketball perspective, I don't want to go
Scotty.
there.
He's Scotty pimping.
No.
But I think
But
like
he's trying to fit
I
into
think I
Michael
think
Jordan's shoes. That's what it is.
I think Tatum between Tatum and Brown. I think is like what we was talking about yesterday. I think they're close. I think it depends on the night who's going to step up. They've become like dependent on each other in some ways. I think Tatum was the first to rise up, but I think Brown is it's kind of caught up. You know what I'm saying? And Brown's a better defender, but they both really good players across the board, man. But yeah, honestly, Tatum was real cringe last night, man. For real, in my opinion, he was true. He was unoriginal type brother, man. You feel me? He was out here trying to be KG, then he was trying to be Kobe, and then he was trying to be Kanye, and he's trying to be everybody except Jason Tatum, man. I don't like that shit, bro. I don't like it.
Man, who
I don't
is
like it.
Jason Tatum?
Who
Nah,
is he?
I feel you on that though, Scruff. Because to me, like I get what he was trying to do, but to me, to win the NBA Finals, to win a chip like that, and to not just organically enjoy the moment, like you obviously had all that, you know what I'm saying, saved up, planned out what you wanted to say and do and all that. So I don't know, man. Like I thought that was a little off-putting myself to not just like organically enjoy that moment. But I think that is more so why people hate on Tatum, and the hate on Tatum is more so because of his personality and a lot less to do with his actual basketball talent.
The guy's corny.
Yeah, I mean, also like I just didn't like I didn't like the way they gave Jalen Brown the award and they cut his speech a little short. And then they brought Tatum. They said, Jason Tatum, how do you feel about Jalen Brown winning the Finals MVP? Like the fuck, like what I'm saying. And then they try to like play it back by saying like, "Hey, Drew Holiday, you come too." Like, nah, man, Jason Tatum had a longer speech after Jalen Brown won the Finals MVP than Jalen Brown did. And I'm not trying to make this a thing, but like, I didn't really like that, bro. I wasn't really a fan of that. I think Jalen Brown deserved the award, but all in all, I love it though. I love it. I love the fact that Jalen Brown won the award because I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna say like, let's drive a fucking wedge between them. Just like y'all was doing for me. Like, oh yeah,
Ben Simmons and
chose
Embiid.
me.
Say it.
Yeah,
Say it.
I'm doing the
Say
same shit. Like I'm saying, hey look. I hope they break up. I hope they break up, man. Hope they break up. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, and this brings us to the swing of the topic. If they stay together, man, they got a chance to win a few chips, bro. They do. Based on the fact that they got a lot of experience together, now they finally got it done, and it seems like the core is gonna be in place for a couple years. So with that said, do y'all think that they can win another chip? And then I think that might be an easy question. It's hard to say because they can never get back. But I think based on what we've seen is they've been around. So now they've won it. They probably will get back. You think they're going to win multiple chips? Do you see this as like a potential dynasty team? Like, are they going to be around again? Over or under 2.5 chips for Tatum and Brown?
Together, I'm gonna take
Yeah,
the under.
you're going to take the under. Smart man.
I'm gonna have to
Why?
take the under on that.
what,
The
they don't finish their
why
career together?
I don't, and this might be a stretch. This might, you know what I mean? This might be a run the tape moment, come back to bite me later. But I don't see the dog in Tatum. I question if he'll still be as hungry after this chip. And it kind of goes along to, how he acted after the win. We all saw his baby mama popped out, future baby mama, R&B singer out there looking beautiful as ever. And as you grow in life, your goals and your ambitions start to shift a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's not gonna work his ass off and try to win another chip. I don't want it to be misconstrued like that. But the motivation to win the second one might not be the same as the motivation to win the first one. It tends to be that way for a lot of athletes. So if I can see them potentially getting two, if they go back next year will be their shot at getting two. If they don't get it next year, I don't see them getting more than one together. And to get more than two is a stretch. So
T, what do you think, man? You think they're gonna win multiple chips?
Yeah, they're gonna
And
get
if
two.
so,
They'll
two,
get.
but not more than two.
They get a third. I'd truly be impressed. I can't see a third, but the problem is I don't see anybody in the East that can beat them. Like that's the biggest problem. They can get there a few more times. They really
right.
West because what are the Knicks going to do? Anunoby just said what? He's on the Knicks, right? Or is that Siakam? I don't know. I'd be mixing those
Nah,
guys.
it's just you're right.
Okay. Yeah, Anunoby said what? He's hitting the free agency.
They said they low. He said they lowballed him. He wasn't feeling the offer from the Knicks.
Yeah, man. It's not a team in the East. I feel like has any real motion that can do danger to the daggone Celtics.
I mean, I feel that, but then you still gotta beat the West, and the West is loaded up.
Yeah, but hopefully we have what we just seen. Dog eat dog over there. Like them guys beat each other up, and somebody limps into the finals.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll say this, man. I think that the Tatum and Brown combo. I don't think they're going to play the rest of their careers together, but I do think that they're going to play at least the next 3 years together because they're about to sign Tatum to an extension, right? Supermax extension, $315 million, right, over whatever 5 years or something. Brown signed his big deal a couple years ago, right, or last
year. So he's still
Thank you.
4 more years.
Thank you. Yeah. On paper, yes, but like in reality, man. When you sign two guys, the way the new cap is built, when you sign two guys to such big money like that, and then Drew Holiday is getting a lot of money too, it's going to be hard for them to keep the depth of that team together the way that they have it now. They're not going to be like this. They're going to be like this next year, probably still. But beyond next year and then so on and so forth, they're going to start losing the cap space. They're not going to be able to do as much. And then you're not going to have a Holiday. Or you might have to make a decision between the Brown and the Tatum. Or, maybe Brown's really tired of the bullshit at that point. Because then, he done got a chip now. He's a championship pedigree player. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I don't foresee them winning a lot of chips together. I don't see it. I think they got one this year. I think if they don't win it again next year, I'll say this. If they don't win it again next year, they're never going to win another chip.
Yo, I was literally about to say the same thing, Scruff. Like, I feel like next year is definitely their best shot to get another one, but I think there will be a natural wedge in division between them. I mean, it's already happening with the whole, who's the better player. Like I was telling T earlier, that seems to be the leading conversation in most of the Celtics combos is Brown or Tatum. It's never really about how great of an overall team they are and how they've pretty much dominated their way to the playoffs to the chip. It's really just Brown or Tatum, Brown or Tatum. Eventually, one of those players is it's gonna get to them, right? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get to their camp. It's gonna get to something, and there'll be a friction. There'll be some type of issue. So if they don't get to two next year, I don't think they get to two at all.
And I do think the East is going to be knocking on the door. I think other teams are going to get better. T, what was you about to say?
Why are you guys wishing all this negativity upon these nice guys?
Wishing and having an opinion are two different things. I hope that they're best of friends forever. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I'm not even saying that they don't stay friends. Maybe they just don't make it work on the court. I'm not wishing nothing negative.
T, I ain't doing nothing that you ain't never did, T. Because this my take ain't no different. My take actually a little friendlier than your Joe Burrow take. You feel me? You said Joe Burrow would never make it back to the Super Bowl, right? You feel
right.
Me? And I'm saying if they don't win it this year, next year, they never win it again. That's it. That's all I'm saying. They got to short. The window is not as big as you think.
I made that statement based on extrapolating data from the league. I didn't you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to sow dissension in the ranks.
I'm not saying I'm sowing dissension. I'm saying the dissension will be sowed naturally just through media and through basketball fans having the conversation of who's better, Tatum or Brown.
he's not even a. He's passive aggressive. How you gonna out of nowhere just grow some cojones to talk crazy to the
Maybe
fucking guy?
eventually it gets to Brown. Maybe they get to the finals next year. They lose. Tatum plays terribly. Maybe Brown's looking at it like, why we not running the offense through me? Yeah,
So when did these guys
we
ever show you the
are we gonna
ability
act
to
like we
win?
haven't
This is not
seen this
Shaq and
with two
Kobe.
superstars before? Like this is commonplace in sports. When you have two alphas, eventually somebody has to. There's no one A and one B forever. Somebody eventually is gonna step up and say, "This is my team. We doing this how I say to do it," and the organization is gonna back that player, right or wrong, and another player is gonna be up out of there.
So
Now, how
why
long this
was
works
Klay
with Tatum and
Thompson and
Brown,
Steph
I
Curry
don't
able to
know.
do it? How did Golden State do it with Klay and Steph?
I mean, they had a run and then it ended. That's how it goes.
Clay fell off, and Steph was the clear number one.
And if you look at the totality of years, bro, let's look at it like this, right? Clay and Steph, I don't know. Somebody want to pull this up for me and tell me when the first time they won a chip was, like the beginning of them playing together versus now. That window is closed. I hate to break it to you, but the window's closed.
Bro, we
Klay
said
Thompson
that after KD left, we said that window was closed, and they went one like what 2-3 years later after KD left.
Sure, I never said that though, but other people may have said that. But I'll say that the window's closed now. Klay Thompson's not coming back. He's going somewhere else, and whether he does well or not, that's another conversation. But their window's closed, right? In my opinion, Tatum and Brown already been playing together. It's not actually my opinion. The fact is, Tatum and Brown been playing together for the last 7 years, bro. So the window been open for a minute, bro, and they just got through the window, all right? So now you telling me that they got another 6-7 years? No, I don't think so.
But these guys haven't even hit their prime yet. They're both like 26 years old.
Yeah, and the older I think as time goes on, bro, I don't think Tatum and Brown will be retiring together. I'll tell you that.
This statement would be valid to me if these guys were in their 30s.
They would have to start losing, and fingers would have to start being pointed for them to.
Yeah, once you start winning, how you going from hating each other when you just won a finals to like out of nowhere? I want my own thing.
It was all good just a week ago. You know what I'm saying? Like things change, man. Life comes at you fast, bro.
You are portraying what your hoodie says. You're Venom right now. That's horrible.
I mean, you start feeling some type of way. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you what, I can read body language. You know,
yeah. What happened with Ben Simmons and Embiid? You didn't read that body language. We tried to tell you months, years in advance. I remember your face. You said haters.
I'm talking about, man, when they called Jaylen Brown's name, Tatum was trying to put a smile up, bro, but he wasn't happy for my boy, man. I know what that looks like.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be happy. Because if anything, right, the one thing I said about Jason Tatum during this playoff run, he's so inconsistent. Like, he has streaks where his percentage is above 50, and then other days where his percentage is below 35.
He led the team in points and rebounds.
When?
The entire and the
right. So if I'm Tatum and I'm leading in points and rebounds, and everybody's telling me that Brown's better, and you know what I'm saying, I'm the 1B and he won the MVP, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it doesn't bother me right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my beautiful R&B singing baby mama gets in my ear and is telling me that I shouldn't let nobody make me 1B. You know what I'm saying? Like things change over time, bro. Like the 1A 1B thing is great after you're coming off a finals win. But once you get into that next season, if things aren't going right, the tensions will rise and they will rise fast. And y'all know this. Y'all seen enough sports.
I also think it's a pretty low chance that they win it again next year. So with that being said, like it's almost like either they come out and they bag again next year, which I think is a low chance. So basically, I might as well just go ahead and say they're never going to win another chip again.
What's the FanDuel?
I'm not going that far.
FanDuel got them as favorites for next year, but that's how everything goes. Recency bias, bro. That don't really mean anything. But I'll say what I think there's going to be some teams in the East that are making some moves. And they could threaten the Celtics. And one thing I know about the Celtics is they can get a little lethargic. Sometimes they be feeling themselves, man. And they might be feeling themselves after winning the chip. That's all I know. But we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. Any more thoughts on this before we move on?
I hope y'all people made y'all money when I predicted these outcomes. Hope y'all made y'all money. 'Cause I know Jaden Brown was at plus 2,500.
What?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
I hope y'all listen to the gambling man in here.
Crazy. Yeah. No, I didn't listen to you.
I got the script ahead of time. My bad, fellas. I tried to tell you.
Should have
Yeah,
told me. But
G was on point with that one. That and the CJ Stroud, man. Like we gotta start listening to some of these.
I'm telling you, man. I'll be having the script, man.
all right then. All right. So I guess we could put a bow on that, man. We'll see what happens, man. Obviously, free agency gonna be coming up, so there's gonna be a lot more NBA news popping off. Should we talk about Dallas? Is it worth talking about Dallas at all? Like, what you know? Actually, I think it's a quick one. Is Dallas gonna be back? Will
No.
Dallas ever be back? That's
Yes.
probably what they're looking at, right? They
That
will. They will be back.
they'll need a true big three. They'll need a 7-footer that can actually play basketball on offense out there. But other than that, no.
I think if they start
Yeah.
using Likely a lot more, I think that would be their big guy. Pause.
I mean, he has to, if he develops, but
But that's what I'm saying. He's a rookie, so he still has he has another year,
I think
another
it's
year or two.
hard to develop on a team where one guy dominates possessions.
I'll say
But
this about
he's a
Likely.
big.
Likely is a complementary piece to the way that Luka plays ball. Because you know he could just play defense, crash boards, you know, catch oops. But what they need is like some real 3-and-D guys. You know what I'm saying? Some guys that don't really need the ball a lot, that can shoot to hit the open shot and then strap up on the other end of the floor. You know what I'm saying? And there's some real dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to see them go get somebody like Miles Bridges. You know, get like somebody like that. You know, a real roughneck motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, somebody like that. Somebody scrappy. You know what I mean? You get Miles Bridges with
They need
PJ Washington. Kelly Oubre. Yeah, Kelly Oubre would be a good fit for them, actually. Kelly Oubre legit would be a good fit for them. Somebody like that. But they need like a whole team, bro. They don't really have a whole team yet. They got a couple pieces, bro. They got a couple pieces. Luca, they got Kyrie, they got PJ, they got Gafford, they got Lively. Yeah, that's a couple pieces, but it ain't Boston. You ain't hanging with Boston. All right. Low key, shit. You talk about depth, man. If Denver would have had Bruce Brown, I think that Denver repeats. Like legit. Bruce Brown and who's the other dude they lost? Was it Jeff Green?
Jeff Green. Yeah.
Something like that. Bruce Brown mostly though. He was
Just
a huge piece for them.
just gotta play defense, man. Celtics play defense. If you were betting, I think every game was an under. So
Yeah, defense helps a lot. I mean, and one thing about Luka though, I'll say this. Because we talk about that they're ever gonna be back. Luka ain't never gonna win a chip if you don't learn how to play some defense, bro.
Facts.
Right
That's
now,
not true. Cause we said the
no,
same
it
thing
is
about
true,
Steph.
man. It is true. And I hate to be the guy to bring it up.
Look how long it took Steph to win a champ. Look.
You're right. Steph won a chip and he doesn't play defense. Good point.
Steph
But
tried to play defense though. Steph just wasn't good at defense.
he wasn't the whole team and shit, bro. Luka be trying to put the whole team on his back. To me, like right now, Luka, I like Luka. You know, y'all know I think he's an excellent player. But to me, he's most comparable. You know, you trying to say Jason Tatum was who? I'll tell you who Luka is right now. Right now, he's James Harden. He's James Harden, bro. He's putting up great numbers. He's putting the team on his back. Looks good. It's fun. Big games. But he ain't winning shit. He ain't D'ing up nobody, bro. He playing that matador defense, bro.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's supremely hard to play high level offense and high level defense night in and night out. I think that's probably why they gave it to Brown, because the stats are the stats, but eyeball test, it just looked like Brown had to do more in defense. I mean, Luka was still dropping 30 on his head every night, but he came out there and didn't let Luka get off for 40, 50 and a triple double. So I get it, but yeah, man, Luka to play defense, he's at that level. He'll need to get into shape. The guy has no muscle mass. He's out there with next to a dad bod, and
Kicking ass.
he giving people buckets. Like it works for Joker, but Joker's a center. Luka's gonna need to get in shape, man.
You know what's funny is, man, all this shit went downhill when Michael Finley took his beard, man. You feel me? You don't fuck with the Europeans in their beard, man. You don't do it, bro. You don't do it, bro. You don't do it, man. You don't do it, man. That's like, I ain't gonna do it. I was gonna say some racist shit.
Jesus Christ.
I ain't gonna do it, man. But that's like taking the corona from G.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. Or taking some Henny from one of y'all brothers, or taking
Jesus
a
Christ.
chicken tikka masala from me, stealing the samosas off my plate, man. I don't appreciate that. I don't take it lightly, man. I don't take it lightly. Nah, but let's keep it pushing, man. Moving on. I'm not really feeling this WNBA topic this week. Although I do feel like there's a little bit of a race war happening, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Headshots.
Actually, we'll do a little buy or sell, man. You buy or sell. All right, we're gonna do a little buy or sell. We're gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna run them by you. Some of you gonna buy or sell. Are you buying or selling this Angel Reese flagrant foul? Are you buying and selling this rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? Are y'all buying or selling? Rome, quick, fast.
I'm buying the rivalry, man. It started in college. It's a big part of the reason a lot of people are watching the WNBA now. They're following both those players, trying to see where it goes. And I don't think the foul is as egregious as most, but I love to see it. It keeps the rivalry going. It gives us something to talk about. So let's get it.
Feel it. Oh, gee, man, you buying or selling on the
I'm
case?
buying the fragrant foul, but I'm not buying the rivalry. They play two
Man,
different
I thought you was definitely
positions.
buying a rivalry. You was the one that said they like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Remember?
Yeah, when you start when you start to look at the position, they don't really play with each other. They can't defend each other. One is mostly waiting for the other girl to run into the plate, and the other girl is just playing behind the 3-point line for most of the game. And again, I don't
I'm
buy
buying
it.
it.
So QBs be having rivalries and they don't play against each other in any way, shape, or form. Not even on the field at the same time.
It's like
You gotta get in
baseball.
that
Who
paint.
has the
That's what
better
it come down
pitcher?
to. Feel me? You feel me? You come in that paint, you liable to get swung on. That's what they say. And then you got Kennedy, Kennedy Carter out there on the wing, and she a roughneck motherfucker too. As we seen.
I don't think enough is said about Caitlin Clark's toughness though, because she's getting lit up this season, but she's taking it like a champ.
I'll ask you this, man. I don't even want to know. I really want to know more about this from UT. Why do you feel like Caitlin Clark teammates don't be doing shit about her getting bullied around? Why do you think that is?
It can only be two reasons, man. Either jealousy or they just don't like her. I mean, I don't know Caitlin Clark to be a likable personality. I don't know her to be, I've heard rumblings of like how she talked to her teammates in college. Like an alpha. If she was a male, we call her alpha male. And I don't think that flies.
I think there's something there, man. You got a good point. One thing I didn't know about her is, did you know that she wasn't the captain of her team in college?
I can believe that.
Did they vote
for
on
her to be
captains?
such a superstar and not be the captain, it makes you wonder. It brings into the conversation of leadership. A lot of people have criticized KD a lot, saying that he's not a leader and whoop-de-whoop. I'll tell you, my job, man, I got promoted, man. The path was either you start doing good, then they want to make you a manager, right? They created like a new path. It's kind of a lot of companies have it called an individual contributor. Somebody that really is good at their job. Fuck being a team leader. I'm just really good at my job. And I think that seems like what the kind of person that Caitlin Clark is. She might not be a leader, but she's a high-level contributor. You know what I'm saying? And I think that does count for something. luckily, I think she's in a situation where somebody like Aaliyah Boston can be a leader, and she could just go in there and just get buckets. You know what I'm saying? But
I think as a rookie coming in with that much just star power, I think it would help as a teammate to just kind of ingratiate yourself into the lives of like your teammates. Because coming from Iowa to going to a team where, there's not 10 white girls on the roster, like a little bit of a culture shock there, a little bit of a learning curve in life. Some of us go to college and get that culture shock, but when you look like the people you go to college with, you don't necessarily get the chance to experience other cultures. So I think it could be some of that too. And I'm not calling her a racist or anything like that, but I do think possibly her personality doesn't lean towards, a comfortable situation with her teammates just yet as a rookie.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of layers to it, bro. I think that's a good point, T. And then coming to a market that is Indiana, it's not the blackest market. It's the white, probably top 5 white markets of America. They probably love her, and they would probably like the girls that have been hooping. They're like, man, people they not even fuck. They wasn't even fucking with us until old Becky showed up. You feel me? So they probably wasn't feeling that, man. Fair enough though. Let's keep it pushing, man. More buy or sell. Man, I'll tell you what, man. These Commanders fans, they like the golden retrievers, man. You give them something, they're gonna take it and they're gonna run with it, man. For real, for real. So in the group chat, really it all started with the social media post between Brandon Ayuk and Jaden Daniels. So, he said something along the lines of, they really don't want me back, bro. Some shit like that. And Jaden Daniels was all hyped up, you feel me? And Brandon Ayuk's girlfriend was recording it to put it on social media, obviously as a play for leverage on the contract extensions. So, in true Commanders fan fashions, Bryce and Rome getting all hyped up. They got hypothetical the trade packages are drawn up. They got the trade packages drawn up, man. They already planning the offense. They got the plays designed and everything. Brandon Ayuk and Jaden Daniels, they were high school, college teammates, whoop-de-whoop. And they already penciling in. They're trying to trade Dynamic Brown or whoever the fuck his name is. I don't know, but y'all got buying or selling on the idea of Brandon Ayuk. First of all, you buying or selling Brandon Ayuk getting traded at all, and are you buying or selling on them getting traded to the Commanders? T, I'm gonna start with you.
It's a sale. It's a double sale. Although if you want to trade a guy, you should trade him where it can't hurt you. But no, he's still got a year on his contract. They'll franchise him, so a trade would mean a great package. I don't know if a young team with a young quarterback wants to waste picks, and maybe it's not a waste. Things trying to fast track the process, which has got that organization in trouble a lot of times, a lot of different ways. So. It's a double sell for me, man. I just feel sorry, man. The group chat was looking like a soup kitchen, just begging, like, you got any more? You got any more of that? Please. Like, I felt bad. If I could give them to the Commanders, I would. Like, I don't want to see the fans just on their knees, desperate.
Wrong.
What was the question? Am I buying or selling the trade this season? I'm selling anything.
Are you getting traded and then buy or sell on him going to the Commanders?
I'm selling on him getting traded this season. I don't really see too much happening with movement this season. There's like T said, it would have to be a fairly big package. I don't see why the Commanders would give up, too many assets right now, especially for a guy that's more than likely going to hit free agent anyway. Or and that's coming from him. So there's a lot of shit talking going on right now. Like from an Eagles fan and a 49ers fan. I mean, we got Scruff, who's a guy who every year the Sixers are headed to the NBA Finals and getting some superstar player. The Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl this year, guys. I don't know if you heard, Big Dom is going to be back on the sidelines as the assistant
He
head
is.
coach
He
and
is.
all
He
this.
got
So
You ready to
promoted.
wear a
so
white
the
man on your
Eagles,
shirt again?
while we have legitimate, video evidence and something to actually be excited about, players wanting to come to DC. You got Philly fans lusting over Big Dom's pizza and all that. But I am completely buying that Brandon Ayuk ends up in a Commanders jersey before his career is over, catching touchdown passes from my man Jaden Daniels. So, bookmark this, run the tape on this. You will see Brandon Ayuk in a Commanders jersey before that career is over.
FYI, did y'all see the photos of Daryl Morey having lunch with LeBron James? Did y'all see that? Did you see that video evidence? Did you see it? Did you see it? I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't know. Could have been on brand. It was kind of blurry, but he looked like about 6'9", 260. I don't know. Gee, man, what are you buying or selling on this this Brandon Ayuk stuff? What do you think?
I'm selling on the 49ers trade and Brandon Ayuk, and I'm buying on him going to the Commanders. You know what? The Commanders don't even have an offensive line. This kid is supposed to, how many seconds is he supposed to sling the rock, pause, before he gets smacked and break a rib? Why is he going to break his leg?
Damn.
You talking about you talk about people wishing ill will on Brown and Tatum, and what is this? What is
I wish
this,
ill will
You're
on
not feeling
anything
that
that's
prediction,
Commander
is you?
related. Because
bro? That's a crazy
listen,
prediction.
y'all about to still be bottom feeders in this division of ours.
Look, I'm not even gonna get into no crazy football takes right now in June. I know y'all. I know this is my favorite thing to talk about on this show because there's so many Commanders haters. But
you
we'll
know what,
we'll
man?
we'll
Like I
save it.
said,
It's not even training
once you
camp
start
yet,
spending
G.
that
It's not
money,
even training
y'all
camp.
gonna get hit with a calorie cap. Fuck it.
Man, I'll
I
tell
hope
you what.
y'all
I
get
was just
that. I
at
hope
that. I
y'all
was
get
just
him.
at that dump FedEx Field last week, man, and watching the
Yeah.
soccer. I was in a soccer game. I was at a soccer game. Lionel Messi, real superstar shit, man. Nothing like the Commanders games, I'll tell you.
Yeah, just
Um,
to show off this bias real quick before we move on. When the show started and G said "fuck the Orioles and their fans," Scruff made it a point to be, "Oh, the Orioles, great organization, love those guys over there."
I'm being honest.
As
I'm
soon
being
as
honest.
FedEx is brought up, "Oh, fuck that shit though, that pigsty, that dump
It's a
of a."
shit.
Yeah, fuck
It's
FedEx.
one of the
This is
worst. I'm being
bias,
honest, bro.
Now,
huge bias.
Fuck
I
with
go
my
to
peoples and
stadiums, bro.
Browns.
I'm telling
Fuck
you. I'm
FedEx.
telling you.
FedEx.
FedEx is one of the worst facilities in pro
But
sports.
we know that. We know that. That's known. That's documented. There's articles about it. We've talked about it on this show. You just want to take every shot that you can at the Eagles or at
What's
the
So
worse?
Commanders, though. And
when I'm at
What's
that's
worse,
FedEx
fine.
and
FedEx Field
That's fine.
or the
and they're
A's
serving
or
us
the
boiled
Oakland
hot
A's
dogs,
baseball field?
I'm gonna remember that when I'm at Baltimore and they're serving me fresh crab cakes. All right, I'm gonna remember that. That's the
So
difference.
my question is, why do you go to FedEx and order glizzies, but then you go to the
Hey,
Orioles and order
yo,
crab cakes? I
I
don't
work,
know what's going on.
I work in a suite, bro. We get what we get, bro. Like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The Commanders aren't offering fine dining options. Is the point? That's the point, man. That's the point. Um, you know, Ravens got some good old bay wings too, man. Keeping 100 with you. All right, man. Let's keep it pushing. Um, you know, now that sports is over, this is like the 2-month period where we're partially a Game of Thrones podcast. Nah, like for real though. I think last year we had a couple really long discussions about this shit. So yeah, in the first episode in the books, everybody seen it? No spoilers. Everybody seen it? G, you seen it? G.
yeah.
All right, shake your head, motherfucker. Yo.
He was still in
So
shit.
I'm
yeah,
team.
first episode in the books, man.
It's my team
Crazy
right
ending.
there.
Yeah, be careful, man. Careful with that red hot. Man,
I see red.
I seen somebody on Twitter. They said they put a little of that red hot inside one of those little flower joints. Dangerous shit, man. But anyway, first episode of Game of Thrones back. Season 2. You know, it was the build up. You know, from last season after my guy went out on the my first dragon starter set and got murked by the biggest dragon in the game. And I patch Eamon. You feel me? And Rhaenyra was out here, you know, grieving for a good chunk of the episode. But you know, there were some things building up, and we see some things happening, bro. But ultimately, you know, a son for a son is where they ended at. I noticed a lot of things about the episode, but I just want to hear what y'all first thoughts were. Do you feel like it hit the mark for y'all? Are you excited for more? What are your thoughts? T, I know you're pretty avid in this stuff.
Yeah, like I said, agree with that, man. I thought the ending just missed the mark. But it did accomplish the goal of letting you know that we've reached the point of no return, right? There will be war, there will be blood, but other than that, man, I thought in true Game of Thrones fashion, they threw a lot of information at you, a lot of different ways, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of little nuances to pick up. So I was happy, but I think more so just happy to have the series back in my life, like to have the throne back. You know, that's a great feeling when that theme song comes on, man. You just know, man, it's gonna be a good night.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Man, I'll say this though. I did hear from some folks, and I do have the books here in my home. I might actually go have to read these joints because I heard that the scene with the son was much more intense than what they showed. There was a very vanilla version of it. So from what I heard in the book, the mother, you know, Queen Alicent, was there, like you know, there seeing the whole shit go down, and didn't play it. It was a lot more. It was very, very, very much more vulgar and intense. The scene, but I guess they didn't want to show the you know, they didn't want to get too gutter, I guess.
So I've heard something too about the books versus the show, and I don't know how true this is, but it seemed like it made sense. That basically the books are an old Maester version of the events, and he's kind of green leaning. So like he's recanting these tales. The show is what actually happened. So
Okay.
the books could have a slightly different interpretation because this is someone, you know, like the telephone game, man. You tell a story, some of the details are a little different, but the show is showing exactly how and exactly why these things happen.
What's the mom's name again? The one with the green?
Alicent.
She a freak hoe. She on demon time all show. She get her coochie. She get her shit tossed at the end. She like, oh my god, that's a freak hoe.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. There's you know, it was a visual. You know, she was definitely throwing that shit back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I seen some people on Twitter. They were like, they were coming at my man.
She the old school. She the old school. OnlyFans mom.
Yeah,
She made it to the top, baby.
They was coming at Sir Kristen online. They were saying he was just laying back, just taking it. But like, you know,
that's the definition of a munch.
All y'all brothers will know, man. When the shorty is in that position and she's moving that shit. That's all you can do, bro. This is all you can do, bro. You just gonna lean back. You is not finna interrupt that motion, bro. When they on that time, bro, go for it, bro. Like, oh shit, all right. My man said, okay. But that shit was crazy though, because you know, I mean, I know the girl, the daughter / queen is like a little mentally challenged to some capacity. But like, come on, bro. Like you know that she's seen it. Like she's not stupid now. She did see her mom fucking the security guard. You know what I'm saying?
She's a security guard. She a stripper.
But nah, she what I see is Queen Alicent is becoming a lot like Cersei's a little bit.
I thought it was interesting to see her break from her moral high ground that she always seemed to stand on, and honestly, it was the basis of the split between her and Rhaenyra, right?
Right.
That and dating the dad, but like it's interesting to see her kind of, that throne seems to always kind of corrupt the people that get the closest to it. So I thought that was kind of cool to watch her transform like that.
Yeah, it was, man. It was.
You're right. No one likes to be around a stuck-up hoe.
Are
Especially
there
a loose hoe.
one thing I'm noticing about this season is are there any good guys? Like,
Yeah.
It's
The
it's. I
stars.
think to me it's up for interpretation. I mean, I don't see one side as being good or bad. I think there's really no clear. There's no good or bad in my opinion. It's just who you like, who you with, right?
yeah,
Because like Rhaenyra fucked up, bro. We can all agree. Rhaenyra got her moments where it's such a dichotomy because like she has her moments where she got the bastard sons, man. You know what I'm saying? We all know. She playing in the face, man. We all know those are the Strong's boys. Black hair, white boy, Polish features. You know what I'm saying? Like those aren't Valerians. They lie in them on Uncle Valerian's face. He's passing off his land to some white boy. The only saving grace is they betrothed them to the two black Johns that actually got the blood in there. So
right.
if they could ever make it to making some babies, they could bring the bloodline back in. You know what I mean? But Rhaenyra fucked up, man. They did a whole bunch of crazy shit. They did the sailor dude, the original husband. They did him dirty. They did a lot of dirt, man. Rhaenyra's been fucked up, but in some aspects, she is the heir that the king intended. So she has that for her. And Alicent was like, they have the male thing. Okay, yeah, the male heir. That's just the side of the way things have always been. And I saw her as kind of being on the good side for a little while, but she pretty fucked up too, ultimately. And they, obviously they had to steal the throne in the first place. So whenever you're doing shit like that, that shit was fucked up, right? Remember they crushed the dude's skull and shit. Remember, Sir Kristen is probably the craziest dude in the whole show, though. By the way, because like he done murdered the cat at the wedding. He done slammed the dude's skull at the meeting. And then now this guy could do anything, bro. He could do anything and get away with it, bro. Like nobody's disciplining this guy.
I mean, he slept with both queens, so it's like, both wives or whatever. Like,
that is wild when you think about it.
Nah, he's having a good time. He's having a blast out there. And
Rome, what you think about the first episode?
The first episode, I don't watch no Game of Thrones, bro.
Oh, you don't watch it?
No, I am not hip to the Dragon show. I am to Game of Thrones what T is to the MCU. So.
Untrue.
Duh.
I've seen a good portion of Marvel to know what it is, what it isn't. If you haven't seen Thrones, you wouldn't be. You haven't seen it because you wouldn't be talking. And I always say this: Game of Thrones. This is why it's the greatest show of all time. It's united every race, creed, and culture. I don't care what aisle you're on in politics. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care if you talk slang or you talk proper. Everybody that's come in contact with this show, I have not met a person that said, "Yeah, I watched a few seasons and yeah, I'm out." Not one. So
that is so true.
It's a great show of all time.
True, man. I know people that have said
of all time, though, T. Of all time.
Nah, but for real though, I've had people that said what Rome said, and then they ended up watching the whole shit. They were like, "Yeah, I'm hooked now."
How can you not be? Like, it has elements of everything that you love. You know what I'm saying? And great heroes, great villains. I mean, detailed characters. I mean, the plot's crazy, bro. We're watching a show that's hundreds of years before the show we just watched. Like the prequel's hundreds of years, and we're just as tapped in with the families, the lineages, and they could make a show about the years in between.
Bro, of course you're tapped in. It's a prequel. Like you know what I'm saying? Like most people that enjoy the OG version enjoy the prequel, bro. Like that's not profound.
Spartacus came out. Spartacus had a prequel. The prequel is like, why we make this, but we'll watch it. This,
Nah, but it brings back some. It brings it does something, man, for me in the sense of like, I really feel like you know how people say like I was born in the wrong era. You know, like I'm cool in this era, you know, but ain't no honor in this era, man. Keeping a buck with you, man. Ain't no honor in this era. This is not the era, you know, like a Stark would not be alive in this era. But it's nice to see like that shit means something. You know, like the house thing. Like this is our house, like representing the house, you know. I'm starting to
but
think like I'm starting to get back to that way of thinking. Like, oh, this is my house. This is my family. Like, you know, this is our values. This is what we represent as a family, bro. As you and like Rome, like you should relate to that. Like you got a
It
family,
took
you
a
got kids.
show with dragons and all this shit to realize that your family name and your house has meaning, bro. Like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
there's
because
lots
because
of shows
because
and
when I
movies
watch
that
no, because
describe these things.
when I watch season 6 and I'm seeing Ned Stark's son act honorably, and then I'm going to my House of Dragons and I'm seeing Ned Stark's great grandfather, and he sounding he still got the same he still hitting you with the same core values. I'm thinking like that's a well put together family right there, bro. They got their their values
you
down
know,
pat.
one thing about this episode where it started off in the North, right? And we know those are a family really word. They're really about honor, uh, doing things the right way, which ultimately got Ned's head chopped off, right? Because in real life, you just can't always do the right thing.
Right.
But like you said, it's cool to see where that came from and why that's still there. But also, I think some of that has to do with just the region, right? Like they're born in that code, that rigid code where uh you notice in that first conversation he was talking about the wall and the dragons were afraid of the wall, and he has to have his eyes on the north and the south. Like they truly believe in the winter is coming, the White Walkers. So we get a prequel where they're foreshadowing the events of season 8. It's kind of crazy. But one thing about Ned Stark, though, Ned Stark didn't believe in the White Walkers.
Right, right. So it shows the progression of time and how like this belief can that be because like the dude Ned, as we said in the chat, Ned chops on my head off for talking about the White Walker, but the ancestor dude, he was like, yeah, my ancestors, they didn't build that wall for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like this, it's
That
death out
700-foot ice wall. But Rome, the say it's a bunch of dragons, yada yada. The original game, I don't even think we see a dragon until what, season 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. They started off as eggs, and we didn't even see
there.
the eggs for
So
a
you
while.
see the lineage of the dragon family, and you see their eggs, and they lay them, and they hatch them, and all
Well,
that
Well,
too.
even more
No, no,
so
they don't. They
because
don't
like
even
in
have
the in
some.
the
They don't even
original
have
one,
some.
they didn't. The dragons had been dead for many years.
hundreds of years. Because
And that was what was the most amazing part about that was Shorty went into the fire and came back with the dragons as babies and birthed them dragons.
yeah,
And
you thought it was
yeah,
just myth, right? You thinking that all right, magic isn't real. You think it's just myth, right? And all right, she has this bloodline, but then you realize like, oh nah, like that bloodline is legit. Just like on season 1 of you know what I'm saying, House of Dragons, like the girl that can kind of see the future.
yeah,
Like certain people got a little more mojo in these shows than one would assume. She said, nah, it's
yeah,
the rat. Y'all talking about dragons. She said, I'm scared of rats.
right. And she be no, and they still don't even realize that she's predicting the future. But and then like also like the whole like how you gotta like claim a dragon, type shit. That shit's hard, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, you don't just get a dragon, like, and just the dragon's yours. Like, you gotta like, like, pause. You gotta ride the dragon. You gotta take command of the
I knew that was what you was gonna say.
You gotta show me some better
Look,
wordsmithing, man.
I'll say this, man. Like, I just take shots at Game of Thrones for fun. It sounds like the character development is amazing, and for me, that's what any good show needs is strong character development. and that's what keeps people interested in coming back. So it sounds like that's what the show is best at. T saying best show ever. I think that's a lofty claim.
Not
I feel like people would say that about Grey's Anatomy.
no.
But
No, fuck that.
yeah, there's people that would say that about Grey's Anatomy, bruh. But I mean, people would say that about a lot of shows. So I guess
No.
to each their own. But
It's definitely up
it
there,
does
bro. It's up there. It's up
it
there.
does sound like one of the better shows. Will I ever get into
You
it?
gotta get on the
I don't know.
wave, Rome. It's time to get on the wave, man. It's time
Whether
to
you,
trade in your Android phone and start watching Game
Never,
of Thrones.
never.
have you, I'm not just making this stuff up, bro. Have you ever seen a show get the green light for 5 additional spinoffs? Not like a prequel or a sequel. Bro, they got movies, animated series coming out. Like,
Well, Power.
I was gonna say I did like. Are we talking about if they got greenlit for spinoffs? Like, not all of them might have been successful. Like, I'm sure there's shows that got a dumb number of
every
spinoffs or whatever, but
every
I don't know if that's the way to gauge greatest show of all time. And we're talking about the entire history of TV, bruh. So it's a lofty claim.
the entire
Is is Game of Thrones in the conversation? I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
is in
I'll give you that.
number one. There's nobody that can make a stake to be better. Like, I'm not sure where you would beat Game of Thrones at. Like, because you're not going to tell a better story. You're absolutely not going to tell a better story. What you might can do is have better actors, maybe, right? But then the actors are so matched up to the story that you can't even see those people in other roles. Like that's still Jon Snow. I don't care
Bro,
what
Game of Thrones is such a good show that like I watched there's a show that G suggested that I did watch a few episodes of, and I realized that the only reason I like it is because it reminds me of Game of Thrones. It was a joint called Bridgerton. That joint is not good though. It's decent, but the only reason I like it is because it has some remnants of Game of Thrones. No dragons, but everything else is Game of Thrones.
bro.
It's like Game of Thrones for courtship.
Literally. Drinking teas and crumpets, eating crumpets.
I watch
Years.
those, man. You know,
Like Game of Thrones meets Gossip Girl. That's what that is.
No cap.
Isn't it,
With no
though, G?
dragon.
Isn't it?
With no dragons.
It is.
I started watching Game of Thrones in season 3. My brother and my uncle were telling me, like, bro, this is the best show I've ever seen. And I was kind of on the Rome side of things, like, all right, man, y'all are just fans. And I actually watched the first episode and I'm like, nah, I still don't get it. Because when somebody hypes it up, you're kind of looking to pick it apart. But
Facts. That's what, and it's not even that y'all are hyping it up. It's been hyped up plenty by everyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
bro,
I get it, and I'm not trying to discredit the show at all. It's just
by the,
these are lofty statements.
by the first introduction of Joffrey, I knew we had a show in our hands. When you have a villain that I think Joffrey don't even act no more. He went back to doing like stage plays because he said he was getting death threats. Like when you have a villain, I'm being serious, bro. When you have a villain that good, like you can't help but have a great show because a great villain creates great heroes. And bro was just unhinged, man. Like whoever wrote that, George R.R. Martin, hey bro, you're the GOAT because writing that character, how do you think of that for a kid? Like Joffrey was the man, bro.
Like the name, I can't even hear the name Joffrey without thinking about that cruddy ass kid. Like they brought that name back up in this remake. I think one of Rhaenyra's children was named Joffrey, the youngest one, and I'm like, he's gonna be a little cunt, just like just like the other Joffrey.
You know who's like him? Aegon's like him a little bit.
Yeah,
he's not as evil, but he doesn't care. Like he's using the throne for like his own entertainment.
that's the other thing I noticed, man. They was moving around mad lax, bro. Had them rats knew who the fuck Aegon was, he would have been dead.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They could have ended the war right there, bro.
Yeah,
he was just over there just drinking beers and shit.
But I mean, all I can say is to end season 2 with the death of a child, and then to start season 1 with the death right back, the retaliation death of not even the child that you wanted to hit, walked up in that thing and said, I'm leaving here with something. That's not the one we wanted. I'm leaving here with something. Hey, bro, like I said, I didn't like how they pulled that off, but the impact was the impact. We're getting a war. We get a nuclear war. Both sides have dragons, and that explains why when we start the real Game of Thrones, ain't no damn dragons left, because these two chicks killed the sun.
Yeah. More or less, man. More or less, yeah. It's tough, man. Tough, man. We gonna put a pin on this for now. We got a long summer ahead of us, and we will be talking about it again. So, Rome, you might as well get on the bandwagon, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'll say this. But all right, man. Good show, fellas. I think we could put a pin on it, man. It's been a long night. Y'all know how we end every show, man. Sports for the culture.